welcome into another episode of Three's a Crowd. Preston Vargas here once again, and we got a lot of stuff to get into. Some football tonight, also some news around baseball as well, and a huge retirement in the NBA. We'll talk about that, but first make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. We are also back tonight for another game stream. That is the Brewers and Dodgers tonight at 10. We'll have two of those games on Thursday and Friday. So, yeah, make sure to tune into that. Anyways, let's get into this. So, I'll start off reading this guy's accolades. So, 3-time assist leader, 2-time scoring champion, most triple-doubles, all-rookie first team, 2-time All-NBA third team, 2-time All-NBA second team, and 2-time All-NBA first team, 9-time All-Star, and MVP in 2017. That is Russell Westbrook, who announced his retirement from the NBA after 18 seasons of professional basketball. Obviously, one of the greatest point guards of his generation, him and Chris Paul, both retiring in the same offseason to the best of their generation. But talking about Russell Westbrook here, of course, he didn't win a title with the Oklahoma City Thunder or in any team, with any team for that matter. Him and Kevin Durant started off in Oklahoma City together. He was actually, technically, Russell Westbrook was the last ever draft pick last ever first round pick for the Seattle Supersonics. Selected 4th overall by that team. And they became the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think, the next day, if I'm not mistaken. Or actually, they relocated 6 days later. So, yeah, he was drafted by by the Seattle Supersonics with one of their last ever draft picks, and then moved to Oklahoma. They moved to Oklahoma City that offseason. He was a cornerstone of that franchise with Kevin Durant for the first few years when they were in Oklahoma. And along with James Harden, they went to the NBA Finals and lost to LeBron James and the Miami Heat. But after Kevin Durant left Golden State in 2016, Russell Westbrook really stepped up and became the man in Oklahoma City, saying that that's where he wanted to be his whole career. And maybe he would have gotten his wish, but the Thunder knew that they weren't going to win around him. So in 2019, that offseason, they traded him to the Houston Rockets, where he reunited with James Harden for a season. And then he became mostly a journeyman throughout the rest of his career. Then went to Washington, took them to the playoffs for just one season. Then teamed up with LeBron and Anthony Davis in Los Angeles with the Lakers. Of course, there he came off the bench for the first time in his career, and that became his role, coming off the bench as a sixth man for the Lakers. Then transitioned over to the Clippers in 23-24, and then spent a season with the Denver Nuggets, trying to do something there. But this last season, he was languishing on the Sacramento Kings, a team that I want to get their record correct here. So their record was 22-60. So he was hanging around on a bad team. Now this offseason, he had offers from the Washington Wizards and the Sacramento Kings to sign with them. Instead, he retires after 18 seasons, which I think that's a good thing for him. I mean, if you're really hanging onto a Sacramento team that has 22 wins, that's not really the right fit for you. But yeah, he's definitely, I think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and you'll easily see a statue outside of Oklahoma City, because I think he is the second best player, and not counting the Supersonics history, just in the Oklahoma City era from 2008 onwards. He is the second best Oklahoma City Thunder player, behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who got them that title, even above Kevin Durant. And talking to some Thunder fans, I think that's true, because of the way Kevin Durant left to go to the Warriors, a team that they lost to the previous year's Western Conference Finals. They still have bitter taste in his mouth. When I see Kevin Durant with the Rockets going to Oklahoma City, he's still booed every time he touches the ball a decade later. So yeah, I think Russell Westbrook and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will have their have a statue outside. I think they're building a new arena there in Oklahoma City, outside that new arena, and his number will be in the rafters. I think at Paycom Center right now and in the new arena. So, with all that, we'll get into some NFL football here. And what I heard earlier yesterday, actually, that Ben Johnson, he made a bold statement. He wants to have the NFL's highest scoring offense ever for a season. So, the highest scoring offense was in 2013 with the Denver Broncos, where they scored 37.9 points a game. That's definitely a big feat. He says he wants blowouts. He wants shutouts on defense. I like this from Ben Johnson. Yes. I don't know. I don't think it's unrealistic to have that, but it's putting expectations. And that's good. We need a coach that does that. And despite all the training camp injuries, which it sucks that we don't have Kobe Bryant for 4 to 6 months for majority of the regular season. We hope he comes back pretty soon. But yeah, that's a big blow to the secondary. Dylan Thieneman has to step up for sure. And we signed Xavier Woods, another safety. So, and then we'll see if Kyler Gordon can come back. Of course, a lot of us have been frustrated with him not being able to stay healthy. A new injury popped up from the previous ones that he suffered. But yeah, players like him need to step up. Thieneman, as a rookie, I think will have to step up in a big-time role to possibly win maybe Defensive Rookie of the Year. Who knows? But on offense, Luther Burden, I think, will be, even though he's going to miss the preseason with that groin injury, he'll be back for week 1, and that's the most important thing. We need him to play in all 17 games. We can barely afford for players to miss time anymore. So, yeah, that's definitely something we have to keep an eye on here. And, yeah, let's do it. Let's win the Super Bowl this year. First, win the NFC North. Take it game by game playoffs as well. Slowly but surely, we are going to win the Super Bowl this year. You heard it here. You've been hearing it here for the past 6 months since the offseason. We are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Plain and simple. So, yeah, I think we can definitely have the record for scoring offense. So, yeah, we'll transition now to the Los Angeles Lakers. And yesterday, they ended up selling for $12.5 billion. So, that's a record for an NBA franchise. I think they're valued at $10 million, but then they ended up being sold for $12.5 billion by the Buss family to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. Of course, Bob Iger, he was the former CEO of Disney Company, which included ESPN. Joshua Kushner, he's 41 years old. Of course, he's part of the famous Kushner family that's related to the Trumps, and he's a founding owner and managing partner of Thrive Capital, co-owner and vice chairman of Oscar Health, and co-owner of Vostu, the largest social games developer in Brazil and Latin America. So I think this will probably help the Lakers in terms of getting something together in terms of possibly winning. I mean, they lost LeBron James in the offseason. They now turn their attentions to Luka Doncic. This is going to be the season to see if Luka Doncic can be the number one guy on his team. Now, he's done it before in Dallas, which is preposterous to see why they got rid of him to move on to play in L.A. So, let me take a look at their depth chart. I think they got Walker Kessler in free agency. That's a big pickup for them. Of course, the NBA schedule gets released later on this afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern, less than 3 hours as of recording this. So, or less than 4 hours, excuse me, as we're recording this. So, we'll see who they play, what kind of stretches that they'll have. Of course, that'll be something we'll preview for tomorrow. But, yeah, we'll see how the Lakers do. I mean, I'm not expecting too much out of them in terms of contending, but I think if they invest the money correctly in this franchise, you can definitely see them pull something off down the line. Now, we'll talk about this play that I saw from last night in Major League Baseball. A scary incident in the Royals-Dodgers game. Freddie Freeman, he was chasing it was a pop fly in the infield, so into foul territory. Freeman drifts over into foul territory, and while he's looking up at the ball, he falls into the Royals dugout as he drifts over. So they said that he is okay. That's definitely the great news. He's in good spirits, but it could have been much more serious, him falling down stairs like that. Now, I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that this might be something that they could possibly change. You don't want a star player that gets hurt on a star first baseman or a third baseman on the other side of the dugout falling in. So, what can you really do there? Well, we had an incident back in 2017. I'll compare it to this, where a young fan was struck by a line drive foul, and she was taken to the hospital. Luckily, she was okay, but that prompted teams to take action and put netting around the stands, sometimes almost all the way to the other foul pole. Now, that's a good safety. That's a good safety input there for fans. But yeah, that's definitely something they could consider. Not with the netting. I'm saying with in terms of having like a gate, like they do at the bullpens in the outfield, like a small gate near the fence of the dugout that you can open up. I mean, especially ones that are closer to first base, like that one is. Like, if you know a Major League Baseball dugout, you see the batters usually come in one way, and of course the fielders will usually come in that way where Freddie Freeman fell into to come out of the game after an inning and come back on. But in the field of play, you want to make sure all of your players are safe. And you don't want to hazard like that where you take a wrong step, because he wasn't looking down initially. He was looking up at the fly ball, and as he started stepping, he fell down the stairs. I don't know the amount of stairs there are to get down there, but yeah, that's definitely something scary, especially if it's a steep drop that you're probably not expecting out of that. But hopefully Freeman isn't sure whether he'll play in the 4-game series against the Brewers, but he didn't hit his head. That's the good news. This incident could have been much worse. So yeah, we'll see if they end up with putting some kind of safety measure there, like a gate, to get everything squared away. So, out of all of that, this is a story that I added to the show today, and this is some of the dumbest crap I have ever heard from an athlete. So, Jaden Daniels today, he sent a cease and desist to LSU, saying that LSU can no longer use his name, image, and likeness. And why, you may ask, is because the LSU Tigers gave the number 5 jersey to DJ Pickett, a sophomore cornerback. So he became the 3rd Heisman Trophy winner for LSU in 2023. And unlike USC, LSU doesn't have a policy to retire numbers for Heisman Trophy winners. So I want to say this to Jaden Daniels. How dumb are you, really? I mean, yes, you won a Heisman with LSU, but You expect them to retire your number when you didn't win a national championship with LSU? Joe Burrow did that. He deserves to get his number retired by LSU. Is his number retired? Let me check real quick. But yeah, I don't know if his number is retired, but Jaden Daniels, his number is free game, in my opinion. Over this, they can't use your name, image, and likeness, all because they're using your old number. You're not at LSU anymore. You're in the NFL entering your third season of training camp. And you were injured most of last year, didn't play good when you were on the field. And then outside of that 2023 or 2024 NFC title run, you did nothing last season. This is a make or break year for you in the NFL, and you're going to sue LSU over this? Come on, man. So, let's take a look at Jade Daniels' stats at LSU. So, he was there from 22 to 23. So, let me take a look at both those seasons real quick under Brian Kelly. So, in 2022, that team beat Purdue in the Citrus Bowl 63 to 7. You went to the ReliaQuest Bowl, beat Wisconsin. You didn't even qualify for the college football playoff or a New Year's Six Bowl during your time at LSU. So don't give me the crap that he should have his number retired. Just stop it. Joe Burrow went to the national championship game, won the national championship. He also went to the Fiesta Bowl at a New Year's Six Bowl. Of course, they didn't make the playoffs that year. They beat UCF in that game. But he went to bigger bowl games. So no, he does not deserve to get his number retired. That's just my opinion there. And to sue them and take your name, image, and likeness deal away from LSU, that's just petty. I'm sorry. It just is. All because someone wants to wear a number. Come on. Are we really doing this? But anyways, outside of that, let's get into some NFL conversation. Tonight, we have 6 preseason games beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern. Of course, we will be on our NFL preseason stream schedule tomorrow as the Buccaneers take on the Jets. That game at 7 o'clock Eastern. And plus, we will be streaming the Bears' first preseason game of the year as we take on the Cleveland Browns. Bears Football in Three's a Crowd is live. So let's preview the Thursday matchups. We'll preview the rest of the weekend's matchups tomorrow. So let's get into this one. Of course, some say the game of the afternoon, or the game of the, what should I say? The game of the day, some would say. Carson Beck and the Arizona Cardinals taking on Fernando Mendoza and the Las Vegas Raiders. So, of course, you had these two quarterbacks face off against each other in the national title game last year, where Fernando and Indiana won that one over Carson Beck in Miami. So now these two will play in the pros for the first time. Of course, Carson Beck, 188 yards passing in the Hall of Fame game last week against Arizona. So, yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye out for between both those guys. So, you will see how they play. I'm interested to see how Fernando Mendoza will play in that one. So, yeah. Other matchups, Packers-Steelers, that's going to be another good one. That is Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. Of course, Aaron Rodgers potentially playing his former team for the last time in the Green Bay Packers. He said earlier that he was disappointed that this matchup wasn't in Green Bay, which it would have been fitting because of his time there. And I think that would actually incentivize him to play maybe a drive there so the fans can see him one last time in Green Bay. Even though I hate the Packers, it would be good to see for the fans to have a send off with Aaron Rodgers. So you have that. Lions, Bengals. Of course, the Bengals, we think they're going to be a little bit improved in terms of their team. The Lions, I'm interested to see how Drew Petzing's offense is going to look against this Bengals team. And then the Colts Patriots, an old school rivalry out of Vinatieri Bowl. Could have been the Hall of Fame game, but in this matchup, Drake May, can he take another step into his second season? How will A.J. Brown look? I think he's going to play in that game. So that's definitely something to see. Chargers Texans. My storyline for the Chargers, how Justin Herbert's going to look under Mike McDaniel. If he plays, I don't know if he's going to play tonight, but that's going to be something that I'm interested to see. If he plays tonight, how is he going to look in this Chargers offense? The nightcap, Titans and 49ers. That's going to be a pretty good one. How will the Niners injuries? I think they're going to play their twos. They don't want to risk any injuries. But that's going to be a storyline throughout camp. And how can Cam Ward improve on a solid year one into year two? So, yes, that is our preseason preview. Let's see. We'll preview the Bears preseason game tomorrow afternoon. Of course, we had the big news that we didn't address yesterday because we did our quarterback rankings with friend of the show, Kane Nuttall, that we had that Kyler Murray, he is officially been named the starter at Minnesota. So that was in my opinion, that was how should I put this? It was a good decision for the Vikings to do that, but it was a bad prediction by me back in March when Minnesota first signed Kyler Murray. So I said initially that J.J. McCarthy would beat him out because Murray couldn't get the starting job back from Jacoby Brissett. But I think this concerns me if you're J.J. McCarthy. A guy that comes in, you know the offense for this is your third training camp, and you lost the job to the guy that came into camp this offseason. So if he could revive his career like Sam Darnold did, like Daniel Jones did when he was in the building for a little bit, if he can do that, that'll make it worth it. That he can make sure he still belongs in the NFL. So J.J. McCarthy, him losing his spot, it's not the end of the world for him, but it's definitely a bad sign for him. So we'll see how that shapes out. But now it is time for our Immaculate Grid. So we shouldn't have much buffering. We switched over from Safari to Google Chrome from the advice of a friend of mine. So let's start this one off. Let's go Dodgers third baseman, Max Muncy. And then for the Giants, see, Brandon Crawford played short. Is Devers a third baseman? I think it did. Yep. Okay. Played catcher and third base. Okay. We'll go with the utility man, Ezekiel Duran. No, he didn't. So he's listed as at every position, but apparently he has not played both in a game. Interesting. So let's go Phillies catcher. That is JT Realmuto. Then Elias Diaz for the Padres. Really only 1% got that. Okay, Padres Giants. That will be Luis Arias. Then Manny Machado. He had a cup of coffee with the Dodgers. Okay, we're doing pretty good. All right. Phillies and Dodgers, obvious one, Chase Utley. And then Giants and Phillies. Damn it, that would be Luis Arias. Oh, man. So, who else? We'll come back to that one. Let's go to NFL. Okay. This would be A.J. Brown, but he has not played a snap with New England. So instead, we will go with Randy Moss. Really? He didn't have a... Oh, rushing! Not receiving. I misread that. That's on me. All right, Barry Sanders. Man, I can't believe that. How about the late, great Doug Martin? Okay. Patriots have been known for their running backs in recent years. But James White had a lengthy career. No, he did not. Okay. Dolphins and Patriots go Devontae Parker. Dolphins Bucks. We'll come back to that one. Ndamukong Suh. And then Lions, Eagles, Darius Slay. Bucks, Eagles. Face each other a lot, but that's pretty much it. Dolphins, Bucks. Let's see. Then Patriots, Eagles. That would be A.J. Brown, but it's not week 1 yet. So, if I were to think, it's tip of my tongue. Damn. All right, we'll come back to that one. Let's go NBA. Wizards, Pelicans. 5,000 assists. Does Anthony Davis have that? No, he doesn't. Dirk. No. Okay, this will... We'll give up on that. First round draft pick by the Portland Fire. I'll be honest, I don't think I've watched a single Portland Fire game. Maybe on in the background, but I don't think I can name a player to save my life. Fever and Mercury will go Sophie Cunningham. Very famous one. Caitlin Clark. First round pick, let's go Aaliyah Boston. Okay, so American players for the Sky. Let's go Angel Reese. Our default. We'll go Camila Cardoso. I don't know who Portland's first round pick was. So we'll leave it there. Hockey, we'll see if I can answer some things. Okay, the late great Johnny Gaudreau. May he rest in peace. Hall of Famer for the Flames. Honestly, Johnny Gaudreau is the only Flames player I could possibly name. Let's go Martin Brodeur for the New Jersey Devils. Outside the current Sabres, I don't really know. Taylor Hall, I think. He played for New Jersey at one point. There we go. Columbus, New Jersey. Philadelphia, Columbus. That's about it. Let's go to soccer now. Inter and Roma. Let me make sure. Okay, we should be good there. Roma Bundesliga. Maybe this one, Timo Werner for Tottenham. Okay. Sevilla. Oh, that's Montiel, I think, played for Sevilla. Then Eric Lamela. Argentina. Maradona didn't play for Roma. Inter. Let's go English football. North and Central American nationality. Let's go the captain for the Leicester City team that won the Premier League, Wes Morgan. Okay, there we go. Tottenham. Let's go Mickey Van de Ven. There we go. Can't name many other Dutch players or many other Burnley players. Maybe Chris Wood? I don't think. Okay, he did. That's a good shot out of the dark there. Let's go Tottenham. There had to be an American player that played for Tottenham. Or did Keylor Navas have a stint? Oh, wait. I think he had a stint with Nottingham Forest. He did. Okay. Lucky guess there. See, I don't think Clint Dempsey played for Tottenham. I think Flo Balogun might be looking to join Tottenham, but he hasn't yet. I can't name many American players from Tottenham. I'm going to go Clint Dempsey. Maybe he played for them at one point? He did, okay. 34%. So, yeah, we'll go back to basketball, and we will try to do this. Think critically here. I have 7 guesses left. As you can tell, I'm horrible in terms of assists. This one is going to be Russell Westbrook, like we discussed earlier today. Of course, he retired. Minnesota and Houston. Sounds like Steven Adams played for Minnesota. Mavericks, no. Oh, Anthony Davis. He technically played a game with the Wizards. Did he? I think so. No, he did not. He has not officially played a game with Washington since being traded. Let's see, New Orleans. This is probably going to be one of the journeyest journeymen. So we'll give up our scores, and then, while we have time, we'll keep guessing. I'll try to see if any other players. So we got 292 for that one, 837 for basketball, 547 for women's basketball, 529 for football, hockey, 741, then soccer, 634, then English football, 579. So I think you want to get the lowest score possible. I think that's how it works. So my score for English football, 579. Okay. Let's see, baseball, 292. Okay, that's really good there. 537 and 548, 529, and 741. So we'll get to the last two in terms of baseball. So, yes, I'll be looking this up. Use this as a cheat sheet for yourself when you play Immaculate Grid. So, Giants, Phillies players. So, Art Fletcher is one. Steve Carlton, legend for both. I think he had a stint with the Giants, mostly known for his Phillies career. Catcher and third baseman. Let's see, players that played both. Yo, I wonder if Buster Posey played third base at one point. No, he did not. Okay. So Let me look at players who played both. Johnny Bench. That was definitely an answer they could have given. Okay. So we'll go into football now. Patriots and Eagles players. I'll probably kick myself at this one. So players that played for both. Oh, I can't believe I missed this. I was thinking about him in the rushing category. LeGarrette Blount. Yes, should have gotten that. Eagles and Bucks. Oh, Deshaun Jackson, he had a cup of coffee in Tampa at one point. And then Dolphins in. It could have been Ndamukong Suh too. That's right. We used him for Dolphins and Lions. Some other. Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick. That would have been an obvious one. He was my default answer for everything, really. So, let's see. Patriots 5,000 yard rushers. So, career rushing leader for the New England Patriots. Sam Cunningham and Jim Nantz could have been up there as well. I think Ramondre Stevenson will get there. He's only at 3,000. He still needs a couple more seasons, but he's definitely climbing the list. So, yeah, we got that grid set up. Now, see, who has 5,000 assists in the NBA? So career assist leaders. Of course, LeBron's on that list. John Stockton had the... Oh, Chris Paul. That would have been an answer. One of the top leaders in assists. Of course, 64% got that. Jason Kidd. For some reason, I guess Dirk Nowitzki. Then Houston. That could have been Chris Paul as well. Also, Russell Westbrook, but you already used him. Mark Jackson. Played there at the tail end of his career. All right, so now we'll go into Timberwolves and Rockets players. So about 7 minutes until we go off the air. All right. Patrick Beverley. That would have been one. Mavericks and Timberwolves. So 41 players played for both. Oh, the famous one. The guy that people hate. If you haven't seen that documentary, make sure to watch it. Christian Laettner. Pelicans and Timberwolves. Of course, there's a rumor that the Timberwolves would move to New Orleans in the 90s. So that's probably one connection. But obviously not. Players who have played for both. Maybe a current one, Nikhil Walker-Alexander. Or Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Yep. Let's see, Wizards and... This would have been Anthony Davis, he was straight mid-season, but he has not played for the Wizards yet. I think he's signing a new extension with them or trying to get traded. So it doesn't count. So Wizards and Pelicans. Well, an obvious one there. who's now going back to Lithuania, Jonas Valanciunas. See, Wizards and Mavericks. So Wizards and Mavericks players, that is... Of course, Anthony Davis doesn't count. Juwan Howard. So, yes. Got that. Hockey. I think this will be our last one. Or actually... Yeah, let's do hockey. So this will be our last one that we do. Let's see. Flames Hall of Famers. Jerome. Some of you guys might have heard of him. I kind of have, but didn't really think of him. Jerome Inaglia. See, Flyers, Hall of Famers. Bobby Clark. Okay. We'll go Flames and Sabres. Players who played for both. Yeah, I would never have guessed Guy Fuhr or Grant Fuhr. Flyers and Sabres. So that would be... Definitely wouldn't have gotten this either. Martin Byron. Had a long career as well. Blue Jackets and Flyers. So players have played for both teams. Maybe Jakub Voracek. I would have gotten that. I don't think I would have gotten that either. Blue Jackets and Devils players. Let's see. David Clarkson. And then I think we got... Let me check. Okay, we still got time. Let's see if we can go quick here. Portland Fire, first round pick. First round pick. Bridget Carlton. American. Let me look at the Portland Fire roster. Portland Fire players. Let me see. I'll pick a random one here. Jordan Harrison. Of course, a rookie. Sky and Mercury players. So, players who played for both. Skylar Diggins. Fire and Mercury. Oh, they're showing that. But anyways, I think we'll conclude the episode here. So, we thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back later on tonight for Brewers and Dodgers. But from Three's a Crowd, I'm Preston Vargas saying so long, and we'll see you again next time.